Sasol manufactures and sells liquid fuels and chemicals throughout the world.
Of course, it's got a big and very profitable business still in Secunda here in South Africa, but it has that big plant to build a gas to liquids converter, ether line cracker and so on in Louisiana.
Which is costing them a hell of a lot more than they initially thought.
But it depends whether they're going to go for the full Monty or not. Yeah.
Market cap 260 billion rand, a PE here of 9.5 and a dividend yield of 4.3%. Misallocation of capital potentially on this one?
I think they got it wrong in a few of their latest projects that they had. So they actually went over budget, etc. And the trading update and the Louisiana update on what's going to cost, etc. probably spooked the market a lot. It was trading at 470 rand a day, and a few days later it was 400. It's up par 400 at the moment. It's 390, I think, at the moment. So
yeah, there we go. That's the.
If you got long-term views on this thing, it's probably a nice buying opportunity. If you're still scared of miscapital allocation, yes. It doesn't look as fruitful as it did, that specific project. But remember, commodity prices do recover as well.
Well, that's the other point. Commodity prices do recover, and it's all dependent, a lot of this is dependent on the oil price.
And remember, a stronger dollar probably
rand
made their cost higher as well, because the rand depreciated from a year back against the dollar, etc. So there's a lot of variables that you can't control with projecting some of these cost implications. They also slowed down the investment on that front to actually do it on over a longer period, to not strain their balance sheet. And if you do that, costs go up over time. So I weren't surprised too much that the cost went up. I think the magnitude of what it went up was a bit on the negative
on the high
side.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I'm not too concerned.
But we are coming from a point where Sasol used to be one of the most highly owned stocks on the Johannesburg Stock Exchange.
And you can see why, because in the commodities super cycle, people were loving that. They were loving that oil was at $120 a barrel or something. They loved the fact that Sasol was buying, oil and shale gas assets on the continent of the USA. Yes, why not develop a ethylene cracker? Why not go and do a GTL plant in Louisiana? Because you've got cheap gas and you've got this wonderful technology. The rand is weakening, so the profits were just going through the roof. The problem, however, is that commodities super cycle led to an enormous overinvestment in production assets in the commodities complex. So we are now fairly well supplied. So I don't think oil is going back from its current level around $45 to anything approaching 100.
You made the comment that commodity prices do recover. Yeah. Are you putting that scenario around oil as well?
We're more bullish on oil than most of the other ones, because if you don't drill new holes or enough rigs out there, then your supply gets less and less every day that you actually pump the oil out. So you can actually see that in Bulletin's numbers. They had I think a 20% decline on the onshore shale gas oil operations in the States, just because they haven't put in more capex, and they actually halved their capex. So capex haven't declined in total, but they halved their capex, I think, to 2.4 billion over last year, and their output declined by 20%. So I think we're going to have a bit of a surprise in a year's time, where we have not enough supply to meet the demand, and that's normal with most commodities. Oil normally is quicker on the recovery path than other commodities, because they actually get less and less out of that same oil wells.
And Paul, you don't buy into this thesis at all?
Well, it could be, but obviously, the frackers were new to the market, and we know that the Iranians are back in production and so on and so forth.
Hot or not?
One final comment about Sasol. Under new management, David Constable has now departed. Yeah. So Steve Cornell and Bongani Nkobaba are now in there as joint CEOs. I think that's probably a net positive. That's
hot
continuity there. I'm going to unfortunately say not hot again.
Hot or not?
I'll go hot again.